I think the difference is I don't think the government should rob me when I'm wealthy, especially if I'm a smart and brilliant person who is giving back to the community and can make my dollars go further. Bill and Melinda Gates are a great example of this. The ex-wife of the guy who started Amazon is another great example of this. They do so much more when they have oversight of their dollars, and they give millions of dollars and millions of dollars. And on top of, but hold on, let me finish. On top of what they've already been taxed. And they do pay taxes. The idea that rich people don't pay any taxes, I'm sorry, it's just not accurate. The amount of money, for example, that Elon Musk or Bill Gates is paid in taxes, whether it's corporate, personal, property taxes, and all the taxes, payroll taxes, everything else, is in the billions of dollars.
But I'm talking about income tax right now.
Yeah, I get your point on income tax.
Hold on, Ben. That's another Republican sleight of hand, because when I talk about rich people, people say, "Oh, they pay all kinds of taxes," right? But when we say poor people, people go, "Poor people don't pay taxes." Poor people pay payroll tax all the time, so we can't have it both ways. Payroll tax accounts for, I believe, 3/5 of all federal tax revenue, right? So we can't go around saying poor people don't pay taxes, while in ignoring payroll tax, but then look at rich people and say, well, they do pay tax, and then use the very same payroll tax on the other end and count theirs. What I'm saying is, in terms of federal income tax, tax on your actual income, Donald Trump in 2016, and 2017, paid $750 in federal income tax. $750.
Because he had, but if you should be able to roll over losses. That's where you and I would disagree. I think if you lost a lot of money in the past, you should be able to roll that over. If we're going to be intellectually honest about it. But let's go back to what you said about people not paying taxes. You go to the national debt clock. It's nonpartisan. National debt's $34.7 trillion. The debt per citizen right now, Mark, in this country is $103,000. Now, you talk about a lot of people not paying taxes or paying taxes. Debt per taxpayer, because the national debt clock knows how many people don't actually pay taxes. If you just have the debt paid off by the taxpayers that are actually paying taxes, the number goes from $103,000 per citizen as national debt to $266,000, $951 per taxpayer. So there are, in fact, a lot of people in this country, so many that don't pay taxes, that when you take the 106,000, that if everybody had to write a check to get the debt to zero right now, and then you said, okay, we know that everybody doesn't pay taxes, so we're only going to move to the people that do pay taxes, it jumps from $100,000 to 200. I want to make sure I get the number right. $266,951. So the idea that there are a lot of people out there that don't pay taxes, it is absolutely accurate.
My argument is about, again, poor people don't pay tax. Poor people, everybody pays taxes, right? Everybody who works pays taxes. Let's start there, right? In terms of intellectual honesty. My point is that the wealthiest among us don't pay a sufficient share, and that burden has trickled down to people who make significantly less.
So again, my question though is, if you make a million, how much should you pay? It's at 34% now, plus all your state taxes.
I think there has to be some complexity to it based on region. But if I were just to pull a number, I'd say 40%.
Okay, so we're only off by 6%.
Yeah, but
this is why you and I can be friends.
But Ben, if you would have raised the tax code to 40% across the board, and you paid specific attention to the 1% and didn't allow tax loopholes, we wouldn't just be recuperating a clean 6%. We would be getting literally tens of billions of dollars in tax revenue. And that's my point. Again, I'm not, my beef isn't the 34 versus the 40. My beef is the fact that the ultra rich get off. And this idea that philanthropy can become the proper alternative to paying your taxes, I think is deeply problematic. If Bill and Melinda,
I don't think it's one or the other. I think
but here's what I'm saying though. If Bill and Melinda Gates decide tomorrow that they no longer want to invest money in building schools or providing healthcare in Africa or enhancing food security, they decide they only want to invest their money in the opera, and they're going to decide to spend $50 million a year in building opera houses all around the country. That would be their right as philanthropists, right? But it wouldn't do anything to address the issues of poverty in the United States. And the difference is, and this is where you and I fundamentally disagree, is that I don't see redressing the issues of poverty as an option for them, as a choice. The only way you get $1 billion is through large amounts of economic exploitation. You don't get billions of dollars unless people die. You don't get millions of dollars unless people are exploited.
Oh, see, I fundamentally disagree with that.
There's no way to get billions of dollars without.
No, like the tech boom is a great example. If you created Netflix, did you exploit somebody, for example? No. Redbox, when they were making hundreds of millions of dollars, which, by the way, then it went and turned into a disaster as technology beat them out. Were they deserving of like, you know, are they evil people and they exploited people because they brought a service when Blockbuster went under and they figured out a better way of doing it? No. Like, if you came up with electric cars, take you know, Musk out of it, just Tesla and what they've done. Like, did you exploit someone because you took an insane risk to build electric vehicles? No. Are there some people that have exploited people to make money? Yes, of course. You could argue that with diamonds. You could with mining. Hell, I've got a coin here, right? Like if it's gold coins, for example, and mining, or if you look at what's happened, for example, with the green alternative energy, there are people that have absolutely exploited people in that industry and have hoodwinked people in that industry to make money. But to say that the only way you can become a billionaire is to exploit people. No, you could come up with a brilliant idea like Amazon or Microsoft or a BlackBerry back in the day. Or I mean, hell, Michael Jordan's going to die a billionaire. Did he exploit somebody because he was good at basketball? Now, you could say Nike did on slave labor. I would agree with you there. But I'm talking about Michael Jordan as a brand, or Tiger Woods as a brand.
And this is where you and I are probably talking past each other. My point isn't that everybody who has $1 billion got that $1 billion through a evil talent or an evil gift or an evil idea. What I'm saying is the accumulation, hoarding of that amount of money is dependent upon economic relationships and investments and connections that are exploitative. So you use Michael Jordan as an example. Yes, Michael Jordan doesn't have $1 billion because he played in the NBA. He actually only made $30 million a year for his last 3 years, and before that he had minimal contracts.
Nothing compared to nowadays.
You made more last year than Michael Jordan made in his whole life, right?
If that was true, that would be amazing. And no offense, but I wouldn't be doing the show with you right now. I'd just be counting my dollars.
Fair enough. But Michael Jordan made his money because of an extraordinary deal that he struck with Nike, whose revenue is in the uber billions, if not trillions, you know, over the course of the
lifetime of the company.
Life of the company. And that is directly related to the exploitation of third world labor.